Right, how's it going? Back with another L video. So Prem's ended, which is pretty sad, but not to worry. It's gonna be back in August. And so I think pretty much everyone on YouTube who talks football is now looking at like who they thought would finish top six, who they thought would get relegated, all this, that, and the other, and then comparing who actually finished in those places. I'm gonna be very basic, and I'm gonna do the same. So, yeah, right. So I've pulled up who I thought would end up in top six. So at first I had Arsenal, because did I jump on the hype train? No, it wasn't down a hype. I just genuinely thought they would finish at the very top. And now I have a couple of reasons, but like when you look at it, they were at the top for I think something like 80% of the season. So they looked like they were going to, but they just kind of fell off towards the end of the season, bottled it, and then obviously City went on to win. Which, you know, as a United fan, obviously out of all the teams in the Prem that I would have preferred to see win the whole league is obviously going to be United. But it's just not realistic at the moment. So obviously I would have preferred Arsenal win it over our fucking rivals, you know. Now, when I was putting this together, my thinking was, you know, they had a pretty good 21-22 season. They have a pretty strong, not even going to say pretty strong, they have a fairly strong squad when you look at it, and it's a mixture. So it's not one of these teams that is dependent solely on young players or experienced players. They have a nice mixture of young and experienced players. For me, when you look at it, right, Saka, Martinelli and Saliba are the three young players that kind of stick out for me. I don't know about the rest of yous, but they're who stick out for me personally. And then when you're looking at the more experienced players, it's Xhaka, Odegaard and Jesus. So that's who I thought would finish at the top of the league. They're my reasons why. Moving on to second, as I said when we were talking about Arsenal, I thought it would be them first, and then City obviously coming in second. You know, look, as I said, I was hoping Arsenal would pull through and stop City from winning, but they didn't, unfortunately. And you know, you can't really give out about it. There's not much you can complain about. It's not like it was an Leicester kind of thing that happened. It's City. Realistically, they were going to win. I think a lot of us were just hoping Arsenal would do them and just be better. Reasons I thought City would end up coming second, right? And these are the reasons. And there's one that is it's the pinnacle of why I didn't put them first, right? So obviously they're giant. They're a giant club. They're one of the biggest clubs in the world. The fact that Pep can sell a player on, and then it's almost like they've just generated one in the back room. Like, it seems to be they sell a player, and then there's one already there to replace it. That's a big reason why they're such a solid team. And obviously, they have some of the world's best players on that squad. Like, it's ridiculous. Now, the reason I didn't put them first, right? Because I know if you're watching this and you're sitting there, you're standing, or whatever way you are watching this, you're like, yeah, but like, Haaland. They hadn't signed Haaland when I was putting this together, right? It was literally, I put this list together, and the next week they signed Haaland. So if I'd waited a week and they had Haaland, City were going to be at the top. City would be at the top for me if they had Haaland while I was putting it together. Yeah, they're the reasons I thought City would come second. They didn't. They came first. Yay. Now, right, I thought Newcastle would come third. Now, right, I know there's probably some people sitting there and going, oh, well, it's Saudi money, obviously. That was one part of it. But the main part of it that I thought was Eddie Howe. Last season, people thought Graham Potter was the next big English manager, right? It's not. Howe is. Howe is underrated. So underrated as a manager. I really like him as a manager. He, like, when you look at what he did with Bournemouth, right, without big money, he kept them pretty solid and a nice all around team. Like, as well as the fact, he didn't sign him to be the manager, have the Saudi money there, and then spend crazy and buy like the likes of your Mbappe, the likes of your Haaland. He didn't just go big names. He did very smart signings, and the three that kind of stuck out to me the most, no, the four, sorry, were Botman. I really liked Botman. I thought he would have been a nice signing for United. Obviously, we didn't, but I'm not going to complain. I like the Martinez and Varane pairing at the back. But yeah, Botman was one. Pope, Isak. I wasn't sure how Isak would do with the Prem, but in fairness, he's done fairly well. Not Haaland good, but he's done fairly well for his first season. And for me, the one that sticks out the most, and the one if someone said you can pick any player from Newcastle and they'll sign for United, is Bruno Guimaraes. He's lethal. He's lethal in that midfield. I love him. I think he's probably one of my favourite players in the Prem currently. And you know what? Newcastle might be like one of these teams that are now going to roam around the top 6. I don't mind liking a Newcastle player. It's not as bad as liking a City or a Liverpool player. But yeah, I just thought Eddie Howe's a solid manager. Obviously Saudi money. And, they had made smart signings as far as I was concerned at the time of me putting this together. Looking at United now. So, in fourth I had United. I genuinely believed, and people I knew, mainly like 3 or 4 of my mates, thought I was crazy saying, I reckon we'll finish top 4. But I did. I thought we'd finish top 4. A lot of people didn't. A lot of people thought we'd kind of maybe play 6th or 7th. I thought we'd get top 4. I genuinely believed we would get to top 4. And my reason, I just thought Ten Hag would do very well. I thought he'd come in and he'd work with what we had, which he did kind of, but he made some good signings for us, in fairness. I just thought he'd be able to come in, he'd just utilise what he had for his first season, rely a lot on the youth, because he is known for his development of younger players. So, that was just my thing. There wasn't a lot. I was just banking on Ten Hag's work, which he has, because we didn't get 4th, we got 3rd. So I was even shooting lower than we actually got. I think he's done well, in fairness. I think he's done very well. I think he's very underrated by a lot of people. Like, the fact he wasn't in the running for best manager of the season is a joke, considering he came into what could probably be argued to be one of the worst United teams in recent years, and to do what he has, win us a cup, get us now into the FA finals, confirm Champions League for next season. I think he did very well. So here's hoping next season and in the next transfer window coming up, or not even that's coming up, we're in the new transfer window. Hopefully he gets backed and he's able to move on some players and bring in players that he really wants. Some people mightn't like this. I know my cousin and one of my uncles won't be happy with this old opinion. I got one placement right, and that was Liverpool. Yeah, I thought they'd finish 5th. I didn't think they'd fight for the title at all. And then, right, I'm going to have a quick look. Not even a quick look. I'm going to tell you exactly why I thought this. Now, my reason for them finishing 5th and why I thought they'd finish 5th is literally down to the players they have. They have a very aging squad. A lot of their squad is like hitting their late 20s, early 30s. A lot of players were out of form. One that sticks out to pretty much everyone is Trent, but he's picked up, in fairness to him, he's gotten better now in the midfield after being switched to there. Players like Saul, Mane, and then players getting injured is just. I do think it was just players. There's a lot of older players. Players were sold, or there was players injured, and I think that's what put the nail in the coffin for Liverpool. And I hope they stay there. I hope they stay fifth again next season. Oh, okay, this is probably the worst out of the list I have, right? I'm not complaining. I'm very much happy, right? I think the only people who are going to be livid or upset about this placement is the fans of this club. Everyone else loving it. Everyone else is loving it. And it's Chelsea. I thought Chelsea, right? I thought Chelsea would have finished sixth. Sixth. I'm putting money on it. Some of the fans would kill to be in sixth. They didn't even finish in top 10. They didn't even finish in the top 10 and I had them at sixth. Nah, that's ridiculous. I thought they'd do well and they didn't. Like, the reason I didn't think they'd be top 5, right, or top 3 even, is Potter. Potter is a draw merchant. For however long he was at Brighton, so many of his games there just ended in a draw. So I just thought he'd rely on draws. And they just bought, like, when you look at the transfer window, Chelsea bought so many players, right? And it's not that they're bad players. There's some fairly decent players there. There's some that I think could do with going out on loan to develop a bit more, get more regular game time. But I just thought, like, I was looking and I was watching as each transfer was confirmed, and I was like, there are so many players there, and as I said, they do look talented and there's players that have potential there, but it's like, how are they going to gel together? What's the plan for this player? How often are they going to get played? It just seemed like they were buying players for the sake of it, and it obviously backfired on Chelsea. But I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to be upset. I'm enjoying it. I'm hoping they stay like this next season. Right, so we're going to now talk about relegation. The 3 teams I thought would get relegated were, I thought Everton would buckle. I thought it would be Forest and Bournemouth. They were the 3 teams I thought were going to go down this season. My own reasons is Everton just bottled last season. They barely stayed up. Forest, I just thought with how many players they were getting in and the kind of players they were getting in, your likes of Dean Henderson, your likes of Lingard, I just thought there'd be so many clashes and it would just be a team that would self-implode over time. Bournemouth, I don't know, I just thought they'd kind of go. You know, I thought this would just be their year, that they can't compete and they'd be dead in the water essentially. I got none of them right. You know, nice. Right, so I've talked about who I personally thought would go down, who I thought would finish in top 6, and on this part of the screen, I'm going to put up who actually finished in those places. So obviously, at first, we had El City. Still annoys me about that. And while I'm recording this, the L FA Cup game hasn't been played, which I'm hoping they will bottle. Because I'm hoping a lot of the players will just be thinking about the Champions League final and they'll bottle it. And it will mean they won't beat the L treble set by United. It would be perfect. Very unlikely to happen though. Second, Arsenal. Third, United. Fourth was Newcastle. Fifth, Liverpool, the only one I got right in my prediction. And sixth, Brighton. And you know what? I'm quite happy with Brighton getting sixth. Purely down to the fact Evan Ferguson plays for them. So, you know, he'll get a bit of our European football. So, I'm chuffed with that. But yeah, they're kind of who... It's not kind of. They are who finished in the top 6. I should have just swapped United and Newcastle. There's part of me that wanted to change that. I wanted to go, do you know, we'll finish third. And I'm livid I didn't, because I would have had third, fourth and fifth. So I would have got half the guesses right. The relegated teams are going to be here. Obviously, as I said, I thought Everton, Forest and Bournemouth would go out. And it's so annoying, right? Because who actually went out is Leicester, Leeds and Southampton. Keep in mind, I thought Bournemouth, Nottingham and Everton would go down. I'm going to show you who finished in between 15th and 20th. Look at it. Look at it. Switch that around and I would have been perfectly right. But no, Everton have to fucking just make it on the last day. Nottingham don't bottle it, and our fucking Bournemouth didn't bottle it. Why? But Leeds went down. I'm happy with that. Fuck you, Leeds. Enjoy Championship football. We're now at the end of this L video. It was just a quick one. I thought I'd whack up while it was still relevant, because let's be real, I'll do the old City thing. I'll probably cover the pre-season stuff. Ireland have a couple of games for the Euros coming up soon as well. The Prem starts back up in August, and I am off on holiday in August as well. So it's gonna be pretty quick for me. So I thought this was probably the best time to get it out, because it'll be, sure, August is soon enough, and by August the Prem will be back. So if I left this any longer, I was like, you know what, now I need to get it out. If I leave it any longer, I'm going to be putting it out while everyone's putting out their predictions for the 24-25 L season. So anyway, I'm going to stop waffling. I'm going to stop taking up any time of your day. That's it. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a lovely rest of your day or night or whenever you're watching this. And I'll talk to you in the next one.